welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Andi Osho and Russell Howard, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with our round called Headliners. Here's a picture of former Prime Minister Tony Blair and friends, but what does BMIS stand for?
Is it a list of what's in Blair's memoirs? Bragging, moaning and icky sex?
It looks like is it not just John Prescott going, bugger me, I'm starving?
Or is it all the things you'd rather have than read the book? Bulimia, myxomatosis and an itchy scrotum.
Are they all laughing because it's ballistic missiles improve Sunderland?
Prescott looks like he's just bored. He's just running through lists in his head. Bette Midler, I'd shag.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow.
Or is it both Miliband's I'd shag?
I think it's what Blair isn't saying. Believe me, I'm sorry.
Is it Blair, my influences, Satan?
Or is it their nicknames, Brainy, Miserly and Insignificant Sausage Muncher?
When was that ever anyone's nickname? Insignificant sausage muncher.
Well, strange you should say that.
It's longer than anyone's name.
Is it just simply Blair memoir is shit?
So we're going to have to move towards the correct answer. I'll give you... You're almost halfway there.
Is it Blair's memoirs' incredible sales?
Yes, very well done. Congratulations. Yes, the answer I was looking for was Blair's memoirs' incredible sales. This is a story that ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair has finally published, A Journey, his hotly anticipated account of his time in power. Waterstones claimed it to be their fastest-selling autobiography of all time, outstripping on its first day successful memoirs by celebrities such as David Beckham, Russell Brand and Dawn French. Who doesn't come out of this well?
Brown. But I just don't understand why people are buying it. We've heard it all before.
We've heard it 9 times before.
Like Blair doesn't get on with Brown. What next? David Blunkett's crap at Wink Murder. We know...
The titles are terrible as well, isn't it?
A Journey.
The title is terrible. A Journey is terrible. They're just so pretentious. A Journey is pretentious. The Third Man by Mandelson, that's pretentious. What you want is John Prescott's Read This or I'll Punch You in the Face. Yeah. That's the kind of title I want.
Also, he went, didn't he? He went his journey. In fact, he went from Islington to Downing Street to Connaught Square in Bayswater. That is not much of a journey. 45 minutes at best. I mean, let's face it, Michael Palin's there going, well, it's not pole to pole.
He said that George Bush was an intelligent man, which is a bit like saying that Joseph Fritzl's a family guy. This is a bloke...
Why has the book been compared to a Mills and Boon?
Because you don't want to read it?
Because there's some racy passages in it.
Yeah, there's racy... him describing him having sex with Cherie, which is... It is grim.
Hey. They're a married couple. OK, we didn't need to know. The actual quote, he said, on that night, I needed that love Cherie gave me selfishly. It was a favourite. I devoured it.
Do it sexy, Dara, do it sexy, do it real sexy,
I was an animal. Following my instinct. I can't do it.
Your future in audiobooks is not assured.
No one's going to book me to do sexy audiobooks. How are you? Oh, the writing. He was all over like a rash.
It's quite fun. A bit about what he was saying about, you know, devouring Cherie and stuff. It was hideous. It was like, imagine your parents dogging. It was wrong. You just didn't want to read it.
What's amazing about this is just the way that journalists have reacted in this mock shock that he should... I mean, he didn't talk sexy like that when he was Prime Minister. No, he was Prime Minister. The Go Compare man doesn't sing the whole time. That's what I think. There's no time when he was going to say during Prime Minister's questions, and I would just like to say to my right honourable friend, Big Tony gonna sort you out, bow, chicka, bow, bow.
But it's basically, he'd been accused of sexing up a dossier, and now he has sexed up a dossier, basically, hasn't he? You went after he's going, oh, I devoured Cherie, or whatever it was. You weren't sure what he was going to put next, I flopped out my weapon of mass destruction, and 45 minutes later, it launched.
It turns out, too, that Cherie is actually her middle name, and her first name is Chim 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 Chimney Chim Chim.
What weakness does Blair reveal?
Mini baby bells. He can't get enough of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
No, he's drinking. It was really hilarious because he said, yeah, I was a bit of a drinker, but all he had was half a bottle of wine a night. My mate once got so drunk he woke up in a river. Half a bottle of Merlot's nothing. My mate thought he was a duck.
Blair was saying in the book that he drank to deal with the pressure, and then he talks about some of the things that he was worried about, including that at the launch night of the Millennium Dome, an acrobat would fall on the Queen's head. That's mad! That's the kind of thing you worry about in a dream. He's a lunatic.
But it is telling. It is always telling, I feel, about a nation's attitude towards alcohol, that everyone went, what? A whiskey and 3 glasses of wine? I'll show him, right? I'll show him what a drink problem is. This is my drink problem, yeah.
This would be the worst AA meeting ever. It'd be so dull as well, because the other... OK, tell us about yourself. Well, Duncan's basically, he's lost his kids, he's found himself homeless on the street. How about you, Tony? Well, first of all, hi, guys. Occasionally, I have a second glass of wine after dinner. Group hug.
Although, in fairness, his drinking did lead to invading a country.
Yeah, which makes the UN the international equivalent of a woman in a car park going, leave him, Tarek, he's not worth it!
The UN made him the Middle East peace envoy after he'd started 2 wars in the Middle East. It would be like making the woman who chucked that cat in a wheelie bin an RSPCA inspector. As Prime Ministers go, it's nothing, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Churchill used to have a bottle of champagne for lunch, have another one apparently in the evening,
Yep.
have 3 scotches, 2 brandies and a highball. So you think, well, it's no wonder he didn't want to appease Hitler, was it? He was well up for a scrap, wasn't he?
Yeah, but to be fair, no, what people forget about Churchill, when Churchill was doing the old, we shall fight them on the beaches, yeah, he was 25 at the time. That lifestyle, he died at 32. That lifestyle really... yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't go, oh, we're going to fight them on the beaches and we'll fight them in the pubs, outside the pubs, in the kebab shops.
If they look at our women, we'll twat them there.
We're in the late-night garage and we want more fags.
Churchill, that he said later in life his greatest regret was never winning the Second World War. Didn't remember a thing.
He also, let's be honest, he looked quite like you.
And you are...
I'm glad that as regarded as an insult.
Say it in... No, he did. I'd say that as a compliment.
Yeah,
Try
you would take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
He was a
we will
big
fight
round
them
man.
on the beaches. Yeah. Say that.
We will fight them on the beaches.
Don't sound like the Churchill dog.
That was Tommy Cooper. We will fight them.
Tommy Cooper.
Who is that?
I don't know who that is, but I think they've usually got a carer with them.
Say this. Never in the field of human conflict.
I'm not doing Churchill impersonations for you.
Do it sexy. Do sexy Churchill.
Sexy Churchill. I will fight you on the beach. Why has William Hague been in the news recently?
He's come out and said he's not gay. And
Do
Cameron...
I rethink the wording of that sentence exactly?
Nope, not at all.
That's all fine?
William Hague this week said he wasn't gay, and Cameron hardly helped matters by saying the entire Tory party were behind him. There's probably a better way of putting that. I felt so sorry for all he was doing was sharing a room with his mate. It's not as if he was watching Pineapple Studios rubbing his nipples.
It wasn't quite his mate, though, was it? It was a special advisor. And you're wondering how good was the special advisor, how good was the advice that he was giving him. Oh, you wear a baseball cap, you wear wraparound shades, and what's more, book a twin room and put me in it.
But the thing is, guys, come on, let's not... We share a room when we're on tour, don't we?
No.
Yeah, we do, don't lie.
No, we don't.
Me, Andi, Hugh are in one bed, Dara's in the other.
Let's be honest, though, we're topping and tailing.
We are. But it is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, come on.
It is ludicrous.
I mean, in fairness, I wouldn't sleep in the same room as any one of my mates because I'd wake up with no eyebrows and the word pedo on my face. So...
If
Well,
I
that
had
would have
known...
been a great political story if he'd woken up with one eyebrow.
Just him walking
Peter.
into PMQs with a Hitler moustache. I can explain this.
Yeah, I didn't even want to do this. Is the, you know, that it was embarrassing, that picture of him walking around with the sunglasses. Although he has suppressed this picture, and we're very proud to show. This is,
So what? Even if they shared the same bed, I share a bed with a woman. Does that make me a lesbian? No. Admittedly, it might eventually make her one, but that is not the same.
But this is the man who earns £400,000 a year. What on earth is he doing sharing a room? That just seems massively tight-fisted, doesn't it?
Some of us get night terrors, all right? So what's funny about that is there's a goblin under my bed!
Yeah, these rumours apparently followed him out since he was in university. Right. And he came on the national stage at 16, speaking at the Tory conference, the youngest ever person to address the Tory conference. And then later the rumours came up that he's got no, he doesn't have many female companions. He said, yeah, but he's like a political dork who went bald in his 20s. That does not scream fanny magnet. At the best of times. God love him. That's what he looks like as a teen. It's not his fault, you know. Take it from a nerd who lost his hair early. Yeah, you're fighting a difficult game at the best of times, aren't you?
I've been reading about Hague, and apparently he has to compete with Rotterdam as a port.
Okay, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris, Hugh and Milton. Now we play a round called Wayne Rooney's Threesome of Fun. This game involves Milton, Andi and Andi, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is politics. Who wants to come in on that? Andi.
All right, so it's been a pretty amazing time for black people in politics. There's a lot of black women who are becoming movers and shakers in politics. We've got Una King going up for Labour candidacy for the mayoral election. We've got Diane Abbott. She's got 33 nominations. She's going up for Labour leadership. Doesn't stand a chance. But good luck to you. And, of course, we've got Floella Benjamin is in the House of Lords. Now, I know what you're thinking. How the hell did she get in there? Like, through the round window? It's true. Now, I think we've shown that, obviously, we're up for change. We've shown we've got a sense of humour as well. That is the only way that Boris Johnson could have possibly got himself elected. But I had a lovely story about Boris Johnson, about him and his dad. Apparently, they look very similar. And his dad also likes riding a bike. And his dad was out one day riding his bike, and some random geezer just shouted at him, "Oi, Johnson, you wanker." And he went, "I think you mean my son." Which I thought was lovely.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is security. You want to talk about that? Andy Parsons.
That dog looks excited, doesn't he? Do you think some old lady's trapped a cat in the suitcase? They did describe, right, the Times Square bomber as amateurish. Now, the reason for this was apparently he used non-explosive fertiliser. He hadn't created a bomb, he basically created a garden in the back of his SUV. If he was a suicide bomber, if he pulled his jacket, a little bit of compost would have just trickled down his leg. Some people, they think that Osama bin Laden is in fact dead. I don't think he's dead. I think we'll know when Osama bin Laden's dead. It'll be when Al-Qaeda release all of his videos as a box set.
OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. Subject is school.
When I was 5 years old, my teacher asked me if I wanted to take the school guinea pig home. 7 months later, I arrived in the African Republic of Guinea. My parents didn't know where I was. The British consulate wouldn't help. And my space hopper had a puncture. was at school, I spent half my time afraid of things like fractions. Oh. Well, I say half my time. It's not easy for teachers, though. I mean, where do you stand? You stand at the front of the class where you can write on the board, but you can't see the children. Or do you stand at the back where you can see the children, but you can't write on the board? I mean, no one's been able to solve that dilemma. Not by a long chalk. When I was young, I baked an apple tart. I took it to Leeds, Liverpool and Reading. All because my maths teacher said, make sure you take pi to 3 dismal places.
Thank you very much. And that round, points go to Milton Jones. Come on back. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Andy, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, sport is your category. The answer is 3. What is the question?
Is it the viewing figures for the Women's Rugby World Cup? If you added 2?
Is it the number of North Korean players who got home safely after the World Cup?
Is it what age is too young to be on Twitter? Just done a shit, LOL.
Is it how many sugar babes now have diabetes?
Is it how long does a game of I Spy take in seconds for a group of Chilean miners?
Saturday J. Is it Javier again? It is Javier again.
Is it how many steps to heaven have been replaced by a wheelchair ramp?
How many people in Britain last year paid the right amount of tax?
Is it how many livers did George Best get through?
He liked liver.
He liked it.
Or is it how old was the boy who made my trainers? It's a joke. I'm wearing hush puppies.
Is it how many Facebook friends have I got?
Is it what is the minimum membership level for a Musketeers club?
That's a lovely
It really wouldn't work. All for one and you for me.
Is it in fact, on a Dulux colour chart, how many oranges are there that are in fact slightly brighter than Christine Bleakley's face?
Wow, the minute you leave the BBC, you're dead to us. That's the way that works. Dead to us, Christine. I want you to do the correct answer. I know the correct answer.
Is it allegedly the number of deliberate no balls the Pakistanis bowled in the last Test match?
Yes, that's absolutely right. Well done, Andy Parsons. The question I was looking for was how many no balls were allegedly delivered to order by Pakistan cricketers in a 150 grand betting scam uncovered by the News of the World. This is the news that Pakistan cricketers Salman Butt, Mohammad Asif and Mohammad Amir have been suspended by the International Cricket Council after the News of the World claimed to have uncovered an alleged betting scam set up by London-based fixer Mazhar Majid and said that he let the paper in on the match-fixing scam in return for 150 grand.
But it's a no ball, isn't it? It's effectively a foot fault. If you're betting on foot faults, you have got a gambling problem, haven't you? I mean, you think that people would spot that, wouldn't you? I mean, let's face it, if you went into William Hill, right, and you said, oh, I think Andy Murray is going to do a foot fault in the 4th point of the 3rd game of the 2nd set, wouldn't the person behind the counter go, that's a bit suspicious?
Is he a bit specific? For this, we only do the score, mate. Thanks very much.
I think it's absolutely astonishing that it's kind of sad in a way that there are people out there who are willing to bet on the fact that, you know, watch cricket for long enough to see if no balls have been bowled during a Test match. You can also bet on how many friends they've got and the last time they managed to talk to a girl. It's the...
But as if cricket isn't
tedious
dull,
bet.
as if cricket isn't dull enough anyway, you're looking for dull things within a dull sport.
Yeah.
They've done a no ball within the dullness. That's like that's like eating a vegan barbecue whilst listening to Dido. You can't get any dullness.
There are greater allegations, aren't there? They're saying that there's a chance that they actually threw one of the matches against Australia last winter. And you're thinking, my goodness me, we have just lost them in the 3rd Test match. If it turns out that they were match fixing, we've just actually been trying to beat them and we lost to a team that quite possibly were trying to throw the match. How crap are we?
Stop hitting the ball! I'm throwing it underarm. I'm throwing it in the most girlish way. Stop hitting the damn ball!
I think people are taking it a bit, sort of making it like it's really extreme or something, because someone said in the papers as well, this is the worst crime a sportsman can commit. I'm thinking, try telling O.J. Simpson's wife that.
Well, it got me. There was a quote in one of the papers, I think it was the News of the World, said a thing about, in this terrible time for Pakistan, which obviously it is the moment, in this terrible Pakistan, while their nation was struggling with a huge disaster, these 4 men were defiling the traditions at Lord's. And you're going, yeah, because that's really what the people of Pakistan are worried about at the moment. Yes, we have no possessions and our home's been washed away, but as long as the home of cricket remains bound with integrity, that's the most important thing to us here.
It's absolutely extraordinary. They paid 150 grand for the story, though, when normally they just hack into the players' voicemails. Paying nothing for it at all.
I tell you what's scary as well, going into a betting shop. I mean, I'm not an alpha male. You just walk in, you're like, hello, I'd like to bet on the National. And all the men look massive. They're made even bigger by the fact they're holding tiny pens. You see the little pen going, I wish I worked in Argos.
Yeah, that one day the Grand National, you do feel like, I'd like to bet on a horse, please. Which one has the prettiest name?
Do you want to do it each way? Did I come back?
Why was Wayne Rooney in trouble this week?
Wayne Rooney allegedly, Dara, had sex with a prostitute.
Yes, allegedly,
I cannot wait for the songs that will come from the crowd straight away, because that's exactly what it'll be. Wayne Rooney shagged a whore, and we all thought he couldn't score. His wife's going to take his money from the bank. Next time, Wayne, just have a wank.
I think that's great, but I think it's quite long for your average football supporter. She also said that, didn't she? She said she wouldn't have sex with him in his own house out of respect for Colleen.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, a woman with standards, ladies and gentlemen.
He allegedly paid £1,000 for sex. £1,000. There's girls in Norwich who'll do it for chips. That is just a complete waste. But it speaks volumes about how ugly Rooney is. He's a multi-millionaire footballer. He still has to pay for sex. But even, please touch me penis. It's going to cost you, Shrek. You know? It's brutal.
I think the real problem now is that there's going to be people in Norwich watching this going, oh, I'm just going to go out to the fish and chip shop.
6 packs of chips, please.
I'll tell you how middle class I am. When I saw the headline on News of the World, cheating Rue beds hooker, I thought Kanga's going to be furious.
The other thing as well is he's got, because it was listing like all his earnings and what might be compromised because of what's happened, and he's got a £5 million book deal. Like, who wants a book by Wayne Rooney?
No,
do you know what I mean? What does it say?
Do you know he's written 2 already? And they have sold.
But I know, I can't get... Like, what does it say in there? Like, scored a goal, banged a prosy. Chapter 2. Scored a goal, banged a prosy. Chapter 3. Swallowed a Lego.
One of my favourite things is people say, oh, he's going to lose his sponsorship. You know, the papers say he's going to lose his sponsorship money. Like, kids aren't going to buy Coke because Rooney cheated. I'm really thirsty, but I just don't believe in sex outside wedlock.
OK. The end of that round, the points go to Russell, Andi and Andi. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to read in a political memoir.
So we were playing Truth or Dare, and I didn't want to tell the truth, so I shagged Edwina Curry.
Big band struck 12 and stopped. Thank God. My buttocks were on fire.
I thought I'd pressed the button that summoned the tea lady. Imagine my surprise when it turned out I bombed Russia.
I think the greatest thing about meeting the Queen was listening to him singing Candle in the Wind.
Yeah.
Say what you like about Robert Mugabe, but that moustache makes all the difference to foreplay.
I suspected that John Prescott was having an affair when the 4 legs of his desk came through the ceiling above me.
I was actually at college with Saddam Hussein. We were at Sussex together doing chemistry and combined inhumanities.
At the start, there were 3 women in the cabinet, 5 in the cellar and 2 under the patio.
Deciding to go to war was one of the tensest games of eeny, meeny, miny, mo I have ever played.
We'd sometimes break up boring cabinet meetings by convincing David Blunkett he was black.
Oh, when we got into Bosnia, the first thing we did was get the United Nations troops setting up trestle tables with plates of cheese straws and sausage rolls. But it turns out we were supposed to provide a buffer, not a buffet.
John Prescott, a book by me.
Take that, you bastard, he said. No one fucks with Mahatma Gandhi.
The next topic is things you wouldn't hear in a medical documentary.
I know you're a teenage mother, but nobody will patronise you here. Come through to the slag ward.
Next, he was put in a CAT scanner. Unfortunately, the cat was still in it.
And so Nick Griffin comes round after the face transplant, and that's not the colour he was expecting.
OK, now cough, and cough again. OK, yeah, I've got the diagnosis. Got a cough.
Eventually, doctors had to break his leg in 6 places. It was the only way to stop him running round the ward, the little tosser.
34% of people in this country have irritable bowel... Oh, sorry.
What this attractive patient doesn't realise is Dr. Singh was struck off years ago.
Brian is 75 stone. He hasn't left the house for 3 years. What a fat bastard.
After months of tests, doctors finally discovered what had caused his blindness. He'd been masturbating too much.
Today we're attempting a slightly difficult operation. What we're hoping to do is remove the Adam's apple with a pair of tweezers without the patient's nose flashing red.
Tara removes her top to reveal a hideous skin infection. Look away now if you're eating Rice Krispies.
The Siamese twins were joined in the most embarrassing place imaginable and known by friends as the skipping rope.
Points go to Russell, Andi and Andi. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Andi Osho and Russell Howard. Commiserations to Chris Addison, Hugh and Milton Jones. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Green. Good night.
Coming up after Newsnight, blistering medical comedy Nurse Jackie at 11:20 here on BBC Two. And right now, the laughs are rolling with BBC Three, and the King is dead.